Hi everyone. Today's soundbite number 2 is about the image I nation, or the imagination. Imagination is the foundation for what one sees within one's mind, what one perceives within the temples of the thoughts. Life itself is an activity of imagination, of thinking, of perceiving, of looking, and observing. However, it does not only rest there, its roots within the origins of the observer. What you see, what you take from it, what you perceive takes root within you. You are wholly responsible for what you are imagining, what you are seeing, and what you are perceiving. Take, for instance, the examples of symbols, and I've spoken of symbols at length, and it lies with you in the interpreter, in the interpretation of the symbol. Everything that happens in this world lies within your thoughts, what you perceive, what you imagine to happen, or what is presented to you in the imagining of an event. Some use other forms of presenting it to you, but we will discuss that a little later. So everything is done in itself. It is powerful. It is a powerful image that can often have the power to compel you to reframe your thoughts, your original thoughts. And sometimes it's remanufactured beliefs that were presented as an image, idea, ideology, a political agenda, a conspiracy, and these things fill your thoughts. Eventually you start to believe it. The power of this world lies with what you see, with what you believe, and what you take in with you. Altered realities in terms of virtual reality, artificial expressions, imaginations, imagings, art, these things are all part of the process. These are all part created. When there's a lot of talking about it, it brings forward the imagination as well. Don't you think that the realm dynamics are based on virtuals? The idea of the word virtual signaling seems to be a new word in my perspective. And these virtual signaling or imaging ideas are presented for the visual. Audio-visual stimulation is triggered non-stop, of course, but you can switch off. You can plug your ears. You can also close your eyes. You can work on preventing your senses from being overloaded as they drive to do this for you. Their request from you is simple. Feel the imagination. Feel their imagination. These men and women, creatures, without any actual root within themselves, have been in spells. They were enchanted by others before them with imagings, and so they have just gone forward. The forums, with its political technocratic envisioning expression constantly for the show, for people to observe. Perhaps these were all created on white papers, as I've spoken about this before as well, that the invention of white papers richly were created by Winston Churchill to present an idea or a simulation or a virtual signal for others to perceive. And in a sense, the white papers that are throttling the society The parliaments, the governments are there for creative purposes, of course. It is a type of sigil magic, if you want, for a better word. Its purpose is for those to see how the plan is simulated, for those to buy into the simulation. And there's always an exchange of that imagination. Creating a virtual reality after the simulation has been observed by way of launching massive ideas, massive movements, and in the same sense, purchasing the power from you while you fuel that imagination for them. And do you purchase the vision of another man's dream? Have you thought of that? There are these people who sit daily and think what more to present to the populace. Daily, in and out, they're called thinkers, think tanks. These are based on technology, perhaps, because it's the next logical step, not so. Their works that they present are powerful, fueled with much monetary value, because they are as the observer and you are the observed. Once you were the observer until you bought into the imagination. We are in an image-eye war, the imagination of the eye war, a frequency war, if you call it that. It is about what they want you to see and how much you believe into it, how little choice you have, and to only accept what it is that they present to you. By now, the more chaos there is to drive you, the more it can deprive you from your conscious thoughts, so that you would only buy into a badgering of ideas, of presentations. Look at me, look at me, look at me. It's what they're saying all the time. The ones that are trying to drive propaganda, political drives, do the same thing. Advertising, advert for the eye. If you had to stop believing in the power of the spells that blind you to believe in a certain idea, like I said, it doesn't matter whether you believe in a flat earth, a round earth, a toroidal earth, a disk earth, a zodiac is always present. Notice that. The zodiac is something that's come to my mind. It would lose its power over you if you had to stop believing in the thew, the diabolical conflict of the zodiac, the zodiacal, since these magicians use the zodiac to enforce their ring of power, their visual scope for you to be in, to look at, for you to be the ant in the petri dish, the observed. And in a sense, if you look within the understanding of what the thew is, or the zodiac, let's break it up into words. The first part of the word zodiac starts with thew, the word forming element meaning animal, living being, from the Greek zoion, Z-O-I-O-N, an animal, literally, living being, source, also from the Greek bios, or life. And let's look at the word zodiac, from Old French zodiaque, from the Latin zodiacus, zodiac, from Greek zodiakos, kyklos. It means circle. Zodiac, the word means circle. Literally, circle of little animals from zodion or zoion. So are you the animal that you believe in the ring of power? Or do they project the image of the zodiac upon you for you to be the ant or the animal in the dish? And as for the latest adaptations of The Lord of the Rings, supposedly called Power of the Rings, or something to that extent, there is no drive to present an accurate adaptation of Tolkien's original Lord of the Rings, if it is even original, even that it is in itself a propaganda of imagings, to separate you from yourself, to pledge your sight to the imagining of the power that the ring has over you. How can you observe without being trapped in the vision? The first important thing that you need to understand is that you are in control of what develops within your thoughts. You're in control of how you experience the image, the presentation of the zodiac. Now, I'm not saying that you stop looking at astrology, but it does have a very strong root in it, because it is all about the sky and the projection of the image upon your thoughts. Can the circle of the animals or the zodiac also be presented as a crown of thorns? Yes, of course. It is important for you to be mindful that you are in control of what rests in your thoughts. Remember that we are existing within a world that is constantly in creative flux. The imaginings or the imagination of such ideas of wars and atrocities that have been planned were all based on imagination before. And if enough times visualized and imagined does become a reality, the causality, the creative power did not lie with the artist that is destructive, but with scientists and people that believe that they are suffering. It is only then out of that suffering and that abuse, that sterility to an imaginative idea develops. If you are wounded, for example, and out of and in repression and you don't work on yourself, your creation will be perhaps not so healthy. Your ideas will be pollution, perhaps to others. Life, one thing for certain, is constant. And life is the constant solution to death and synthesis and artificial virtuals, false virtuals that are presented in ideas, colors, turning the rainbow upside down. This world is a constant creation in itself, ever constantly imagining, imaging, and creating. Belief in the imaging is the key, is the power. And as I have said before, they cannot create anymore. They can only copy an image. Remember, they who are there now were given images to believe in, to buy into. Are they afraid of death? Yes, perhaps. Most likely so. Because if you live enough or long enough to buy into something outside of you, you lose that which is within you. As long as you are able to find solutions and open your mind to healthy problem solving without the use of Google, you are able to present and act and exercise your creative power. It is as that simple. I leave this with you.